Hello and welcome to this James the Bike Guy, where today we're getting to take a look at an uber lightweight race bike from Trek. This in front of us is the 2023 Trek Emonda SL6. And the Emonda SL6 features wireless shifting through a SRAM drivetrain, a aero and lightweight carbon fiber road frame, and some performance geometry to make it a pretty sweet race bike. So we're going to go into the features and designs of this bike, and then of course we'll find out exactly what it weighs. So stick around and consider subscribing if you enjoy what you see. Alright, talking Trek Emonda. Boy, is this a pretty looking bike. And the Emonda has been around in Trek's lineup for quite a few years as their lightweight climbing bike. And a couple of years ago, when they revised the frame to the one we have in front of us here, they added in some aerodynamic touches to be able to make it a bit slippier and faster on the descents as well as the flats, while keeping some of that lightweight performance and snappy handling into their bike. Now, in Trek's lineup, this Emonda sits in as that lightweight climber's bike, which means they also have their Domani as the more upright and comfortable variant of a road bike, and then of course the Madone, which is the knife-edged aerodynamic race bike in Trek's lineup. So this Emonda kind of splits the difference between those bikes by having this nice sleek carbon fiber frame, which still has an integrated kind of front end to it. It uses a standard bar and stem combo, but you can see the cable routing goes in through the front, and then everything is hidden and internal. And then they feature aerodynamic shaped tubing, which allows the bike to cut through a little bit better, and some slick integrations to make it a bit faster as well. Now that means that this Emonda is going to be faster than previous versions in the wind tunnel, and it should be able to save some watts out on the road. Now in the Trek Emonda series, there's going to be an ALR, which is their aluminum variant of the bike. Then there's going to be the SL version we have here, which goes from an SL5 to an SL7. The SL5 has Shimano 105 components. SL6 is this wireless Rival drivetrain. And then, of course, the SL7 is going to come with the Di2 electronic shifting Shimano Ultegra. And then once you go above the SL series, you then get their SLRs, which the SLRs are the race bike variant of the bike, the lightest, the fastest versions that you can get. And in this current generation of frame, they have something called an H1.5 fit. So in previous generations, they would have an H1, which is kind of the longest and lowest in the front end race bike geometry. H2 was the middle of the road sporting or performance geometry. And then H3 was the endurance geometry you'd find on bikes like the Domani. Well, in the Emonda, they're splitting the difference between the H1 and the H2 with H1.5. And that's going to allow this bike to have a nice long reach, a medium height stack, making it both comfortable but also a performance-y position. Now, putting that into perspective, if this was a size 56, it would have a stack of 563 and a reach of 391. And that means that the bike is considerably taller than its closest rival, the Tarmac, at 555 millimeters a stack, and a little bit shorter than the Tarmac, sporting a reach of 398. If you compare it to its other close rival, the giant TCR, the TCR has a stack of 562 and a reach of 393, which means that it's coming in within just a couple millimeters of the TCR. So that would allow the fit of the Emonda and the TCR to be pretty similar, but the Emonda to the Tarmac is going to be a little bit more relaxed fit on the Emonda. So that's nice to know in case you're comparing them and you're thinking about how you want to feel on the bike. Now, along with that aerodynamic shaped frame that comes on the bike, you are going to get this bladed carbon fiber fork up front. It does rock a through axle both in the front as well as in the back. And a nice thing to feature on the bike, of course, is the T47 threaded bottom bracket. Now, a T47 threaded bottom bracket is a standard that allows you to run the larger spindled cranksets to get the additional stiffness, but has the reliability of a threaded interface. It is also going to use what's called a seat mast, which is where the frame comes up and the seat post rather goes over the mast. So the post itself is a cap that slides on, making for the bike to be able to have the same compliance no matter how high or how low you set up the seat post. That allows Trek to have better control over the comfort and handling characteristics. Moving into the cockpit of this bike, you'll see it's a traditional bar and stem combo, but it's semi-integrated. So this rocks an aluminum Bontrager handlebar. This is the Elite VRC handlebar, which offers 100 millimeter reach, so this distance here, and then 124 millimeter drop, which is kind of a medium drop. So medium reach, medium drop, and then that's going to connect up through this Bontrager Pro alloy stem. This Pro alloy stem is blender compatible, meaning there's a mount that can clip in here for lights or Garmin's or whatever you might want to carry with you. And then all of that's going to go through this headset, which allows integration of the cable routing. So that tightens up inside to the headset here. These spacers, of course, are removable. It's at max height right now, but of course you could drop that and even slam all the way down to the stem cap. Of course, one cool feature is the little go there. And as that turns, it's pretty cool to see that headset with the aero integration turn as well. Moving into the back is going to be the Bontrager Aeolus comp saddle. This saddle is a steel railed saddle. It has a little bit of cush to it, a nice cutout, of course, on top of the carbon fiber seat mast. Moving into part spec, this being the SL6, means that this is going to be set up with SRAM's Rival wireless drivetrain. So SRAM Rival is similar to a 105 or Ultegra level, somewhere in between drivetrain, but this being wireless means that the shifters themselves wirelessly operate your front and rear derailleurs. Now, this being a Rival drivetrain does mean that it's going to be 2 speeds up front and then 12 in back. So you've got a total of 24 speeds on this bike, wirelessly operated. Of course, your battery right back here, and I'll have a link down in the description to a breakdown of the SRAM wireless drivetrain system. But the SRAM Rival wireless rear derailleur operates a 10 to 36 tooth rear cassette, and it drives forward to this 48-35 chainring combination. Now, many of you will think that those gear ratios are a bit different than what you've heard, and that's because most of these SRAM drivetrains, because they get to run an XDR road cassette, allows it to go down to this 10 tooth, whereas most Shimano and previous generation 11-speed drivetrains would only go down to an 11 tooth. That gives it even more range and allows them to play with some of the gearing combination. Now, this Rival crankset does have an integrated power meter inside of it, which is an awesome feature to be added to a race bike like this, because most likely if you're buying a bike like this, you're concerned about performance and metrics and fitness. And it's really cool to see out of the box it comes with it and not just something you could upgrade to. Now, rounding out the part spec is going to be the Aeolus Elite 35 wheels. These are Bontrager's 35 millimeter deep aero profile carbon fiber rim. They're laced up to some Bontrager hubs and offer some additional aerodynamics and a pretty solid package. Well, anyways, now that we've taken a look at this bike, let's go ahead and find out exactly what it weighs. The actual weight of this Trek Emonda SL6 in a size 58 is going to come in and weigh 19.96 pounds. Thanks for watching this video with me on the Trek Emonda SL6. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts on this 2023 variant of their performance race bike in the middle spec. While you're at it, be sure to hit the subscribe button and browse the channel to check out other videos to see as well.